Hello, everybody, and welcome back. This is week 3 of the Secrets of the Millionaire Mind Mastering the Inner Game of Wealth book tour from Sean Adams, Master Ambassador for the Midwest. This week we are going to be covering the pages 49 through 111. We're going to start getting into some of the nuts and bolts and details of the specific ways that we can start doing things differently in order to become successful and rewire our mental financial blueprint. So I'm glad you guys are all back. I'm thrilled to have you here, and we're going to get started with looking at the in-depth pieces that we've been talking about. So I hope you guys are ready. Hope you have your notepads out. Here we go. So what we're going to be talking about are the wealth files, or the 17 ways rich people think and act differently from poor and middle class people. So we're going to be doing this over the next 2 weeks. We're going to cover half of the wealth files this week, and then we're going to do the other half next week. But I just want you guys to be ready for this conversation of the ways rich people think and act differently from poor and middle class people, because they do. They think and act differently, and you're going to learn the secrets behind how they think and act differently, and how you can make that work for you so that you too can think and act like a rich person, so you will be a rich person. So back into wealth principles, we're going to start with this one. You can choose to think in ways that will support you in your happiness and success instead of ways that don't. And this kind of goes back to what we had talked about last week, that it comes back down to choice and choosing how you're going to act and behave, choosing if you're going to do something differently. And so that's the key. You get to choose if you want to think in ways that support you in your happiness, or think in ways that don't support you in your happiness. The choice is you. You get to decide which way you're going to think. You get to decide what that's going to look like. So I'm hoping that you'll start choosing to think in ways that support your happiness and success. There are 6 caveats before we get into these 17 tools that will benefit you. The first is that, and Harv talks about how he does not believe rich people are better than poor people. It's just important to note that. Also, when he's referring to is the mentality of each group. So it's how they think. It goes back to that internal aspects. And please know, and he clearly goes into detail in this book, but it's important to restate as well, that he will be generalizing big time. Not every rich person thinks this specific way. Not every poor or middle class thinks this specific way. So I just want to make sure you guys are aware. There are generalizations here. Don't get caught up in that. These are just concepts that will be able to help you. The fourth caveat is that we will not always be referring to the middle class specifically. We may just be referring to people who have been less successful, whatever that may be. Caveat number 5, some principles may appear to deal more with with actions than with ways of thinking, and that's okay. Actions are important, and we're asking you also to be willing to let go of being right. You can be right or you can be rich, and personally, I prefer to be rich instead of right. So don't get caught up in being right. Just be open and willing to accept and move forward with all of these. They will help you. So wealth file number 1, first of the wealth files. Rich people believe I create my life. Poor people believe life happens to me. And so that's important. Are you in control of your life, or is your life controlling you? And rich people know they are in control of their life. They get to choose the choices they make. They get to choose how they react to situations. The choice is theirs. Things do not happen to them. They choose how they react to situations and what situations they put themselves in through their own personal choices. Very powerful stuff, and stuff to keep in mind. So there's clues to the fact that you may be playing the victim, and the first one is blame. So blaming others, I would have been rich if it hadn't been for so-and-so, or I could have gotten into that real estate deal if I hadn't gotten bad advice from the real estate agent, or whatever it is. You got to just stop blaming other people. That's a sign that you are letting life happen to you instead of you choosing your life. So Get out of the blame habit. Stop worrying about blaming other people. Start taking responsibility for your life, your actions, and what the choices you make have created. Um, the next one is not justifying. Remember, these little spaces I put in here are intentional. The next one is justifying. And that's kind of goes along with blame, but it's kind of blaming or coming up with excuses for yourself. Oh, I could have done this, but it worked out okay that it didn't because instead I got to go and, have a burger at my favorite burger joint or whatever it is. So justifying can be a very dangerous habit to get into as well, and a sign that you are letting life happen to you instead of you being in control of your life. And a wealth principle that goes along with that is that money is extremely important in the areas in which it works, and extremely unimportant in the areas in which it doesn't work. So if you want a house, I'm pretty sure money is important. But if you want to go take a walk out in nature, money's not important. Anyone can take a walk out in nature. But in those places where it's important, it's extremely important if it works for those areas. You want that new car? Money's extremely important. You want that house? Money's extremely important. So you got to keep in mind that it is important, and you have to honor the fact that money can be very important instead of trying to justify why maybe it isn't important in this situation or that situation. And then victim clue number 3 is complaining. Do you find yourself just talking about how it could have been or what didn't go well, instead of focusing in on the next opportunity or what the next option is for you, you're complaining about how X, Y, or Z didn't work out. And that complaining can be very dangerous, and it's another sign that you're playing the victim, or that you're letting life happen to you instead of you being in control of your life. So keep those 3 in mind. They're very dangerous, and they can oftentimes suck you into getting back into that middle-class poor mentality. Next wealth principle: when you are complaining, you become a living, breathing crap magnet. Because remember, what we focus on is what we get. And when you're complaining, you're focusing in on all of the bad or crappy things that have happened to you, or are happening to you, or might happen to you. And when you focus in on bad, crappy things, what do you attract to yourself? Bad, crappy things. So stop complaining. All it does is it makes you a living, breathing crap magnet. And I know for me, I definitely do not want to be a crap magnet, which is why I do not complain. I focus in on positives and the next positive beneficial step. The next thing, because we were talking about those 3 little victim hints that you need to look out for, there is no such thing as a really rich victim. People who are victims may come into some money, but they are not really rich, and they may lose it quickly. The people who are abundantly wealthy and happy with their money are not victims. They know they created their life. They know they took responsibility and control of their lives. So they are not victims. They were responsible for their lives, and that's how they became rich. So don't be the victim. Take responsibility. All right, everybody, time for our first declaration. We did 1 declaration at the end of last week. We're going to do a bunch this week. So the first declaration, you're going to put your hands on your heart. Remember, you've got to play at 1,000%. If you don't play all the way, you will not be successful. So put your hand on your heart and say, I create the exact level of my financial success. Now touch your head and say it. You all know this one. I have a millionaire mind. Or for those of you in the advanced course, I have a billionaire mind. But either way, you've got to say it and believe it. You can't just say it for the sake of saying it. You truly have to believe what you're saying. So when you're doing all these declarations, make sure you believe what you're saying. All right, and now there's actions to take in order to be a millionaire based on this first step. The first one is each time you catch yourself blaming, justifying, complaining, slide your index finger across your neck as a trigger to remind yourself that you are cutting your own financial throat. I know that's not the most pleasant image. I know that's probably uncomfortable for some people, but you got to make sure you get that down. You have to understand that you really are, every time you complain, every time you justify, every time you blame somebody else, you are truly cutting your financial throat. So make sure you are aware of that, and you give yourself that trigger to stop cutting your own financial throat. So, and then the next action that you can take is do a debrief. At the end of every single day, write down one thing that went well and one thing that didn't. Because we want you to start focusing on the good things and being aware of the things that you want to start changing. And so don't dwell on the fact that it didn't go well. Look at how you can either do something differently and make it better the next day, or just acknowledge that it's done, it's over with, and it's time to move on. By writing it down, you're releasing it, and you no longer have to stay attached to whatever that was that didn't go well, wasn't great, whatever that might have been for you. So make sure you're taking those action steps. We're going to have more of those throughout the day. Next, wealth file. Number 2. Rich people play the money game to win. Poor people play the money game to not lose. So are you looking to win, or are you looking not to lose? For me, it's this concept of prevent defense in football. I'm a sports guy. I like sports. And I never understood why they play prevent defense at the end of games, hoping they don't lose the game. Go full on out and keep doing. If you're ahead, that means what you were doing was working and letting you win. Keep going ahead full on and let yourself win. Same thing in the money game. Rich people know that they play to win, not to not lose. So always go to play to win. First, the wealth principle for this area is, if your goal is to be comfortable, chances are you'll never get rich. But if your goal is to be rich, chances are you'll end up mighty comfortable. If comfortable is, the 3-bedroom house and a car and enough money to pay for your groceries, fabulous! If you have $1 million in passive income a month, I'm pretty sure you can afford that 3-bedroom house, car, and enough money to pay for your food every month. So if you get rich, comfortable comes really easy. So don't focus in on just the bottom half. Focus in on rich so that you know comfortable is going to be really easy and pleasant for you. So that was wealth principle 1. Time for your declarations again, folks. If your hand's not on your heart, you're not playing full on. Hand on your heart, everybody. My goal is to become a millionaire and more. Don't just stop at millionaire. Go for and more. You always want to make sure you're saying that when you're giving declarations, because you want to open yourself up to beyond just the basics of a millionaire. Now touch that forehead and say it, everybody. I have a millionaire mind. Or, your advanced folks, I have a billionaire mind. Whatever you're programming your financial blueprint towards, that's where you want to get to. So keep doing these declarations with me. They help. And even after tonight's call, go back and continue to do them. Declarations help. Now here are the actions you can take as well. Write down 2 financial objectives that demonstrate your intention to create abundance, not mediocrity or poverty. So remember, you want to focus in on abundance. So it's not the little 2-bedroom house. It might be the 2-bedroom villa in Italy that serves as your summer home that you go to once a year. That's setting up a financial objective that demonstrates abundance, not just mediocrity, poverty, or just getting by. Also, go to an upscale restaurant and order a meal that says market price next to it without asking how much that is. Too often we're afraid to order that because we don't know how much it's going to be. You got to get out of that. That's a lack mentality. Too often people go and order the chicken because it's the cheapest thing. No chicken. No chicken at the restaurant. Go in, find something on the market price. Do not ask how much it is. Just tell the waiter, I would like the lobster, or I would like the Chilean sea bass, or whatever it might be at market price. Order that, and if money is tight, split it. Go with your spouse, with a friend, and split the market price item. But make sure you just order it without asking how much it is. It's a great first step toward getting yourself ready. Wealth file number 3. Rich people are committed to being rich. Poor people want to be rich. Do you want to be rich, or are you going to do absolutely whatever it takes to get rich? Are you 100% fully committed to being rich, or is it just something you'd like to have? Because if it's just something you'd like to have, you're not going to get rich. You've got to be committed, and you got to put in the time, the energy, the effort to make it a reality. So be committed to being rich. That's how you become rich. Don't just want it, commit to it. Wealth principle. The number one reason most people don't get what they want is that they don't know what they want. And I know that seems kind of, absurd and simplistic, but it's true. If you want $1 million, then you get $1 million. If you're like, well, I want to be financially well off, and you have no idea what financially well off means, you're not going to get there. You've got to have clear, concrete, measurable, specific endpoints in mind. That's how you get to them. So choose specifics. Got to be specific in what you want, and then you will get what you want. But you got to get clear on knowing what it is that you want to have. Next wealth principle. If you're not fully, totally, and truly committed to creating wealth, chances are you won't. And this goes back to the commitment thing we were talking about. If you are not completely and totally committed to creating wealth, you're going to do whatever it takes, W-I-T, baby, whatever it takes, then you're not going to get there. It's the same thing with star athletes. They do whatever it takes to be the world's fastest sprinter because they know they have to do whatever it takes. They can't just hope to get there. Same thing with wealth building. Got to commit 100%, totally all in. Got to make it happen no matter what. If that means 20-hour days for a little while, it's 20-hour days. Time for declarations. If you're still not putting your hand on your heart, you're slacking. Got to do this full on, play 100%. Hand on your heart, everybody out loud, like you mean it. I commit to being rich. Now put that hand on that head. Once again, play full on, people. Hand on the head. I have a millionaire mind. I have a billionaire mind. Commit to it. Know it. Believe it. Know it at your core and know there's nothing that's going to stop you from getting to being rich. That's what it takes. You got to step up. You got to make it happen. This is how it works, folks. All right. Actions that you can take. First one. Write down a short paragraph on exactly why creating wealth is important to you. Be specific. Remember, concrete examples, specific. Know exactly what it is you want. Action number 2, make a commitment to a family or friend, a family member, a friend, whatever it might be. I, your name, do hereby commit to becoming a millionaire or more by, and give a specific date. I, Sean Adams, do hereby commit to becoming a millionaire by April 1st, 2012. And tell everybody and have them hold you accountable to it. There's no other choice. When you give your word, you have to stick to it. And so you've got to verbally commit this to people you know who trust you and will hold you to it. No wishy-washy, no, kind of told a friend maybe. Stand up, say it with confidence, with commitment, and ask them to hold you to it. Because that's where it comes from. You've got to have accountability, and you've got to commit to it completely full on. All right, we're on wealth file number 4. Rich people think big. Poor people think small. I don't know why I'm picking on houses, and there's nothing wrong with a nice 2-bedroom house. A rich person's end goal for their house is not the 2-bedroom house. Their goal is the mansion. Their goal is the 2-bedroom villa in Italy on 42 acres with its own olive farm or its own winery. That's thinking big. Thinking I just want a roof over my head is thinking small. You gotta think big. You can start small, but you gotta think and aim big. That's the key here, folks. Aim, think big. Wealth principle. This is the law of income. You will be paid in direct proportion to the value you deliver according to the marketplace. If you give good value for your marketplace, you will get paid accordingly. If you give crappy value to your marketplace, which means you just barely do enough to not get fired, you're not going to get paid the big money. That's if you work for somebody else or even for yourself, because if you're only just getting by, you're not having large income coming in to cover yourself. So it's all about the value you are giving that will lead to the pay you receive. I'm going to go over this again because I don't want you guys to miss this point. The law of income. You will be paid in direct proportion to the value you deliver according to the marketplace. And the last piece is the part I wanted to make sure I touched on. The marketplace. You may think what you deliver is worth millions of dollars, but if nobody in your field gets millions of dollars for what they're doing, you shouldn't be expecting that kind of pay either. It's the value you give based on the marketplace you're in. Both of those pieces are extremely important to understand. So I wanted to make sure we went over that in very, very, very deep detail. All right, folks, declaration time again. Get those hands on those hearts, play 1,000%, say it loud, wake up your neighbors. I think big. I choose to help thousands and thousands of people. Hand on the head. I have a millionaire mind. I have a billionaire mind. Say it like you mean it. Believe it. Make this part of who you are. These are not just idle statements you're making. These are you defining yourself at your base core. So do not slack on these declarations and keep doing them even when these calls are done. All right, action steps to take in order to become successful. First one, write down what you believe to be your natural talents. What were you created to do? What are you just naturally good at? I'm a good teacher. This is why I was in higher education for 10 years. I was good at teaching people, helping people understand concepts. That's one of my natural talents. I'm now using it to help you benefit through this teleseminar and teaching you these basic concepts from the book. Same concept, packed differently. But my natural talent is a teacher and helping people understand concepts. Next, write down or brainstorm with a group of people how you can solve problems for 10 times the number of people you affect in your job or business right now. So, you may help 10 people a day. How can you help 20 people a day? Come up with ideas. Brainstorm ways you can touch more people's lives. I can't talk to each of you individually, one-on-one, but I can offer this teleseminar and reach a whole lot more people by doing it this way. Same concept. Packaging what I can offer in a different way to reach more people. You got to come up with those ideas too. Brainstorm, get ideas, start making it happen. Wealth file number 5. Rich people focus on opportunities. Poor people focus on obstacles. Rich people can say, I'm going to find a way to buy that $1 million house that's really worth $2 million. I can buy it for $1 million, fix it up, and make it $2 million. Poor people look at, how am I ever going to get the $1 million to buy that house? Rich people say, this is a fantastic opportunity. I'm going to seize it. I'm going to make it happen no matter what. Focus on the opportunity, not on the obstacle that may prevent you from being successful at the opportunity. Forget about the obstacles, look at the opportunity, and find a way to make it happen. There's a universal law out there that you absolutely need to understand, and it's simple. What you focus on expands. If you focus in on obstacles, you get more obstacles. But if you focus in on opportunities, more opportunities come your way. If you focus in on positive, happy, joy-filled moments, you get more of those. If you focus in on all of the things that haven't gone well in your life, you get more things that aren't going well in your life. What you focus in on expands. It comes back to choice, and it comes back to deciding what you're going to focus in on. That's your choice. All right, folks. I know I keep hammering this in, but you've got to play at 1,000%. Get those hands on your hearts. Say this loud. Wake up the dog. I don't care. I focus on opportunities over obstacles. I get ready. I fire, then I aim. So, keep saying those declarations. Hand on your heads, folks. I have a millionaire mind. I have a billionaire mind. Keep saying these. Know them. Believe them. Make them part of who you are. No exceptions. If you're not playing 100%, then you're not going to be able to reach financial freedom. That simple, folks. This is how it works. All right. What actions can we take this time? Number 1, get in the game. Start doing something. Consider a situation or project you wanted to start. Begin now from wherever you are with whatever you've got. If that means you want to get into real estate investing, start looking at houses. You don't have to buy right now. Start looking at houses. Take some action step right now to get started. Action number 2, Practice optimism. Remember, what you focus on expands. So you need to practice focusing in on positive things so the positive things continue to expand. Be optimistic. Number 3, focus on what you have, not what you don't have. Don't worry about the 2-bedroom house you don't have. Be thankful and grateful for the fact that you've got the studio apartment that at least is a roof over your head. It doesn't matter how small it is. Be grateful for what you have, because when you're grateful for what you have, you will then get more things to be grateful for. So don't focus in on what you don't have. Focus in on what you do and be grateful for it. Thank the universe, spirit, whatever you want to say, God, for the wonderful things in your life, even if they're not exactly what you want them to be yet. Wealth file number 6. Rich people admire other rich and successful people. Poor people resent rich and successful people. Are you that person who says, oh my God, I hate Donald Trump. How does he have all this money? He's so egotistical. He's so, self-focused and doesn't help anybody. You know what? I love Donald Trump. The man's brilliant, and I can learn tons from him, and I applaud that he did what it took to make things happen. I know I can do the same because I am as smart, if not smarter, than Donald Trump. So I honor him, I respect him, I admire him, and I want to be like him. I want to be that good at business like he is. And the easy way to put that is this next wealth principle. Bless that which you want. It's a Huna philosophy. If you want wealth, bless other people's wealth. If you want happiness, bless other people's happiness. If you want that great, heartfelt, centered relationship, bless the people who have it. Don't be resentful and like, oh God, they make me sick. Look at how cute they are. Say, I love that they love each other that much and are constantly wanting to hold each other's hands. Bless them because they have what you want, and then you will get what you want. So bless that which you want. It's very simple, very easy, and will change your life. All right, we're back to the hands on the heart, playing at 100%, 1,000%, 1,000,000%. Hand on your heart. I admire rich people. I bless rich people. I love rich people. And I'm going to be one of those rich people too. All right, hands on the head. I have a millionaire mind. I have a billionaire mind. You guys have to be doing these declarations with me. You've got to play at 100%. Who cares if you look a little silly? I'd rather look silly and be rich than look cool and continue to be poor. So get past that, play at 100%, give all you've got. It will make a difference for you. All right, folks, after declarations come actions. Actions that we can take. Practice blessing that what you want. We talked about this already. If you see somebody having something that you want, bless them. I'm so thrilled you have that Porsche, and I'm going to look good in mine. Bless that which you want. And number 2, write and send a short letter or email to someone you know of, not necessarily you know them personally, who is highly successful in any arena, telling them how much you admire and honor them for their achievements. I've got a mentor who's in the world of internet marketing, which is what I do. And I consistently just randomly send him emails thanking him for his wisdom, his brilliance, his heart, his willingness to share with all of us, and for all of the amazing wisdom and information I've learned from him, and honoring him because he has worked hard, been successful, and chosen to share his knowledge with other people. It's what I want to do. It's what I'm moving towards. It's what I'm doing with all of you guys. I can do this teleseminar because I've honored him and he's helped me learn how to do teleseminars. Honor the people that are successful. You can then learn from them, implement what you learn, and be able to continue to do what they do in a way that's beneficial for others. Wealth file number 7. Rich people associate with positive, successful people. Poor people associate with negative or unsuccessful people. Who do you spend your time hanging out with? How are you spending your days? Are you on the phone listening to that friend complain about everything that's going wrong? Or are you on that phone with those people who celebrate every single wonderful victory? Oh my God, today was awesome. I found a penny on the street. If people do not celebrate finding pennies on the street, you're around the wrong people. Surround yourself with people who are successful, celebrate, positive, not with the Debbie Downers who are always negative. Energy is contagious. Either you affect people or you infect people. Are you having a positive, beneficial affect on people, or are you actually inserting your negative, crabby poison into people? Are you affecting people in a positive, beneficial way, or are you infecting them with your anger, your spite, your blame, your jealousy, your crabbiness, your complaining, whatever it is that might be doing? Either affect them positively or you are infecting them with negativity. Choice is yours. You've got to make that choice and be sure that you're around people who are affecting you, not infecting you. All right, folks. Once again, declaration time. I want those hands on your hearts. Full on, 1000%. I model rich and successful people. I associate with rich and successful people. If they can do it, I can do it. All right, hands on those heads. Here we go. I have a millionaire mind. I have a billionaire mind. You've got to be committed to these, folks. You've got to play at 1000%. If you're not doing it full on, you are not going to be successful. I know I keep saying that, but if I'm going to pound this into your heads till it sinks in. Repetition works. All right, what are the actions we can take now? Number 1, read the biography of someone who is or was extremely rich and successful. I've got Dale Carnegie's biography on my shelf right next to me right now. Unbelievably successful person. I want to know how he did it, so I'm reading his biography. Join a high-end club, such as for tennis, health, business, or golf. Put the investment in there because then you surround yourself with rich, successful people because the people in the high-end clubs are the rich, successful people. It works. Identify a situation or a person who is a downer in your life and remove yourself from it then. This can be challenging. They might be lifelong friends, but as I'm becoming successful, there are people that I can't continue to associate with because they are negative infections on my success. And then stop watching trash TV and stay away from bad news. All it does is stick you back in this non-positive mindset. You want to stay positive. You want to stay looking at the good things. Don't listen to the gossip on the news. Don't listen to all, I don't watch television. I definitely don't watch news on TV. It's always negative. For me, that does not put me in a state I want to be in. I read positive news stories online. I talk to people and hear the positive things going on. I don't want to know the negative things. They don't benefit me. That doesn't help me live my life. Wealth file number 8. Rich people are willing to promote themselves and their value. Poor people think negatively about selling and promotion. Are you that person who is uncomfortable selling something? You don't want to sell to people. You got to get past that, people. It's all about promoting. I only work with things that I believe, which makes it easy to promote them, but I love it. And you know what? I believe in myself, the product I have to offer, and I am more than happy to tell everybody I see about this great teleseminar or the other things I do. I'm happy to promote myself because I know I give value back to people. That's simple. Gotta love to promote yourself. It will help you be successful. Next wealth principle. Leaders earn a heck of a lot more money than followers. There's times when you need to be a follower, you may need to learn information, that kind of stuff. At some point, you've got to step forward and decide to take the leadership role. When you are the leader, you get paid more. In part because you have more attention, in part because you have the other people following you, paying you to learn from you. So get to a point where you know you are a leader and own it and run with it and be that leader. You will get paid more money by doing it. That's why I'm doing this teleseminar instead of somebody else doing it. All right, once again, declaration time. I expect you playing at 1000%. Your hands better be on your heart. You better be loud, and I want to hear it. I promote my value to others with passion and enthusiasm. Hands on the head. I have a millionaire mind. I have a billionaire mind. Folks, I know I get loud doing these, and I'm sorry if it bothers you. I play at 100%. I say these like I mean them because I do. You gotta mean these. Start saying them like you do mean them. It's the only way. All right, folks. What's the action we can take here? Now, this can be a challenging one. You need to rate the product or service you are currently offering or are planning to offer if you don't currently have one on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of how much you believe its value. 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest. I give this teleseminar a 10. I'm changing people's lives for free, easily, by just listening to me talk. That's value, folks. This is a high value product. And I know I'm not asking for high value money on it because this is my way of being in service and giving back. So just because I'm not asking high value money doesn't mean it's not a high value product. Number 2, read books, listen to CDs, and take courses on marketing and sales. Remember, it's all about learning to promote and sell. You've got to get good at this. If you're not comfortable, learn to do it. Educate yourself. It will make a difference in your life. Learn to sell, get comfortable selling, start selling yourself. It will make a world of difference for you. Okay, wealth file number 9. Rich people are bigger than their problems. Poor people are smaller than their problems. It's very simple, folks. If you are at level 2 and you've got a level 5 problem, that's a big problem. But if you're at a level 8 and you've got a level 5 problem, you really don't have a problem at all. It might be a minor obstacle, but it's so not a problem. It's 3 steps below you. If you raise yourself up, your problems, no matter where they're at, are gonna seem smaller. So you got to keep that in mind. Rich people are bigger than their problems. Wealth principle that goes with this: the secret to success is not to try to avoid or get rid of or shrink from your problems. The secret is to grow yourself so that you are bigger than any problem. It's not about avoiding the problem. It's about becoming bigger than the problem so it is no longer a problem. Problem 5 could be a big problem if you're at 2, not a problem at all if you're at 8. The problem's still there, but you've grown yourself to that point where it is no longer a problem. That's the key, folks. Personal growth will get you bigger than any of your problems. That's what rich people do. They don't try to hide from the problems, they just become bigger than them. Next wealth principle. If you have a big problem in your life, all that means is that you are being a small person. If you say, wow, this problem is huge, it just means you have not grown yourself to the point of being bigger than that problem. The problem is not big. Like I said, if you're at level 1 and you have level 5 problems, that looks like a massive problem. But it's not if you decide to be bigger than it, and if you grow yourself to be bigger than that. Level 5 is minor to somebody who's an 8, huge to a person who's a 1. Keep those things in mind. Grow yourself bigger than your problems. Be bigger, always. All right, folks, we're back to declarations. I want you full on, totally in on this one. Hand on your heart, be loud, be obnoxious, say it at the top of your lungs. I am bigger than any problems. I can handle any problems. Hand on the forehead. I have a millionaire mind. I have a billionaire mind. If you're not saying these things with total, complete, 100% belief and conviction, you are not going to get there. Be there, play full on, say it like you mean it, know it, mean it, do it. All right, folks, here we go. Here are the actions that we're going to take. Number 1, whenever you are feeling upset over a big problem, point to yourself and say, mini me, mini me, mini me. You are playing small. If the problem looks big, it's because you are playing small. You've got to make that shift. You've got to make that change. It's that simple. And number 2, write down a problem you're having in your life. Then list 10 specific actions you can take to resolve or at least improve this situation. If the problem is there, what are actions you can take today, right now, to make that problem not a problem any longer? This is keys, folks. And don't just list the actions, take them. Making a list is very pretty, and it's nice, and whatever, and it's very, some people like to do it. Does not get you there, people. It's acting on these lists and doing the actions you've said that make the difference. Understood? Are we all in on the same page here? I hope so. And you know what? I don't think you are. We're going to go over this again. Because if you don't get these 2 points, you are not going to get to where you want to be. This is huge, people. If you don't get these 2 points, remember, whenever you are being overwhelmed by a big problem, if it's too big for you, it feels too big, it's not. It's you're being too small. Mini me, mini me, mini me. Own the fact that you're playing too small. Own the fact that you can be bigger. Choose to be bigger. The problem no longer is a problem. It's something you can handle. And how do you start to get to be bigger than the problem? By taking action. And how do you do that? Look at the problem, make a list. These do not have to be major actions. It could be making a single, simple phone call. It could be, I don't know, cleaning your desk might help you be better managing this problem. Whatever it is, they don't have to be major steps. Make the list of 10 steps, take action, do one of these steps every day. And if you do one of these steps every day, it's going to make a difference. All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed week 3. Next week, we're going to cover pages 111 through 187 in the book. Have them read. Be ready for this, folks. We're going to cover the last of those 17 principles and get you guys completely ready. During this week, do your declarations every day and make sure you've got everything read for next week. Talk to you then.